All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the too ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
That is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. And Jake, you can't tell by looking at me, I don't think, but I got a nose full of Vaseline right now.
Well, there you go. It's a sexual thing or what?
It's a winter thing where sometimes you just blow your nose and you're like, oh, blood, because it just dries out so much in winter that for no reason you get a bloody nose and it looks like you're Eric Clapton at the peak of his cocaine use. So you take you take your finger and you just little thin, and then you just go up there, and now it just feels really weird for me. But yeah, I got a nose full of Vaseline to keep it from bleeding.
Well, if you're going full Clapton, keep the kids indoors. That's what I always say.
The kid was indoors. That was a horrible joke you just made, but I topped it by saying he started out. We're gonna get canceled for that one. Hopefully it's just you.
There we go.
All right, let's jump in. We're gonna end on something positive. So let's begin with light news. Let's just jump in right here. I'm gonna put this picture up on YouTube. Watch this 27-year age gap couple recount an awkward AF moment they had at the Christmas tree lot. So they say they went to buy a Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree guy turned to the guy that is 27 years older than his boyfriend and said, "Oh, is your dad paying for this?" And somehow they say that's awkward. Dude, every interaction they have with the public, when you look at this picture, it's a father-son relationship. Every interaction will be a, quote, awkward one because your fucking relationship is awkward.
Well, yeah, and you look at the picture, and sometimes a 27-year-old age gap, a lot of times we're used to seeing that with like Hollywood guys,
Yeah.
But they're like, they've aged really well. They were like, A-list Hollywood actor, and still are, but they were like the super good looking Brad Pitt type. So like
Costner just got divorced. Costner had like a 20-year age gap, a divorce in there when he
right.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you're like, yeah, but that guy aged super well. So you can tell, no, that dude looks like a 57-year-old man with a 20-something, And
the boy looks like he's 15. I guess they say he looks young, but he's also like, I guess, and I can't. I as a cisgender white male, who is always wrong, because cisgender white males are always wrong. I'm not trying to bag on the gay community, but is this sort of okay? I know they did that movie a couple of years ago with the cannibal.
Well, yeah, dude. If they're both consenting adults, who gives a shit? Let them fuck a 90-year-old. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying it. I'm not saying we should condemn them. I'm saying everyone makes a fuss of it when it's like when there's an older guy and a younger woman, everybody like, but they say it's gross. If it's an older woman, they call her a cougar and it's kind of cool. Is this like acceptable? I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, look in the fucking mirror. You should know people are going to think that's your dad. You can't pretend this is a surprise where you're like, how dare he think that this was my dad? You look like fucking father and son. That's all there is to it.
Well,
if you're both happy, no one should care.
I didn't mention the article that the guy was pissed off about it. I think he gets where the mistake happened, right?
Yeah, the headline is the awkward as fuck. It's not awkward. It's going to be every interaction you have. I'm just going off the headline. I get it. Like if
anything, it would be. I think it's more awkward if they just peg it for what it is right away, because that means that guy assumes every actual father and son are fucking each other. Every action, that means all day long there's been fathers and sons cutting down Christmas trees, and he's like, "Sir, would you and your cub like this? You and your otter or whatever, like this wrapped up, or and so yeah, I mean, they're going to assume that, right?
Right. I guess this is a Hollywood thing. I forgot. I read this, but then I completely forgot it. The couple started dating after LaBelle. I guess Stanley. Which one is the younger? Either way, one of them was on Survivor, and then the younger one got a crush on him and reached out to him slid into his DMs, as the kids say. And that's how they met. Is one of them was on Survivor, which I didn't know was still on TV. But yeah, so that's also awkward. Like if a young woman, we just went through this with the Me Too movement. If whenever like one of those creepy comedians like Chris D'Elia starts going after young girls, oh, it's grooming, it's horrible. is this not grooming? I mean, I guess D'Elia was going teenager,
Well, no,
so that's gross
he's
and
in his
wrong.
20s. Who gives a fuck? Let him,
Yeah.
like I said, let him bang a 90-year-old. It's as long as they're two consenting adults, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. I just you got to expect this is going to be. Your comment was the best. If anybody just looks at them and goes, "Oh, what a nice couple," that would be awkward without assuming father son first.
That means they assume that every parent and child are a couple that's fucking throughout the entire day.
That's just wrong. All right, moving on. Hey, this is interesting. We've done stories sort of like this. Megyn Kelly calls for Taylor Swift boycott after she attends Gaza fundraiser comedy show. Quote, you clearly know nothing. Did you read this one?
I did. That's a good move, Megyn Kelly, going after the hugest mega star in the universe right now. I'm sure that's gonna, I don't know,
Well,
ingratiate you to a broad audience.
My take on it is when you click on it, it's a charity fundraiser for who? The people of Gaza, the people that are
right.
Everyone's saying, "Oh my goodness, we've got to separate the Palestinians from Hamas." Everyone is saying that, and so she goes to a comedy fundraiser to raise money for innocent people, and Megyn Kelly is trying to say it's not Hamas. She did not go to a free Palestine from the river to the sea. She went to take care of civilians. I do not understand what the issue is. I thought the whole point was that nobody should conflate or confuse or cross-section the Palestinians with Hamas. And so that's what Taylor Swift did, is she did not confuse. She said, I'm going to a charity fundraiser. And Megyn Kelly's trying to say, no, you can't do that. You know nothing. Who knows nothing here?
Well, yeah, that one's it's clearly to help the civilians, and however you come down on that thing politically, I mean, helping civilians on either side's a good thing. So I don't see what the fucking problem is. But Megyn Kelly's kind of like on the right, so she's got to basically do the thing where, where all of Palestine equals Hamas, and I would say on the flip side of that. A lot of people on the far left like to pretend that Palestine and Hamas are completely unrelated, and it's like, well, I mean, that's not really true either. But, of course, they should be doing everything they can to help the civilians. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis. So,
yeah. Oh, I mean, she does try and justify by saying that they're taking money that the international forces are designating to help the suffering people of Gaza, and Hamas is using it to create more weapons. Look, there's grift in any situation. I am sure that if you give lump sum money to any foundation, Hamas is going to try and find a way to take a bunch of it. I mean, it goes back to that was the argument in Ethiopia and in Sudan, that anytime you donate or try and give food, the warlords just take it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, but I don't think that's fair to put that on the people donating. Now, it is a fair point to be like, well, I don't want to donate to charities that go to Palestine because, as you said, Hamas will take that and kind of use it for its own gain. A lot of the time, it's a theocracy that's kind of running that place, and it's being run by basically at least the Gaza portion by a terrorist organization. So I get going, hey, it's not going to help. Now, what I don't get is criticizing people that are trying to donate and kind of get through some of that, because I mean, Hamas, look, they do use like the water pipes to make rockets and shit. So it's like I get why somebody wouldn't want to donate, but they don't do that in other places. They don't go, oh, you donated money to some country in Africa, you're helping warlords, you're pro warlord, you're pro this. I don't know whatever child soldier general is in the Congo right now. You're pro that guy because you fucking donated to, I don't know, Children's International or whatever.
I had a point and I lost it. You said something and I went, ooh, and just completely shit out my brain. The idea that, no, I lost it. Fuck. I was all excited for half a second when I went, ooh, I've got to make a point.
I was excited when you said you had one, but now it's gone. And you've disappointed me and you've disappointed the listeners, sir.
I've disappointed everyone, just like I disappoint my wife in bed. Ooh, wait, what?
There you go.
I guess it was something to do with, now if, I know what it is. what Megyn Kelly is trying to
I had
do.
faith in you the whole time.
Yes. What Megyn Kelly's trying to do is combine or confuse the idea of, hey, I'm going to a comedy fundraiser for the people of Gaza with these students who are signing letters saying that, oh, Palestine isn't the right, all the pro-Palestine, anti-Israel protests, where the instant because it happened, we've seen several celebrities tweet, this is horrible for everybody. We can't confuse the government with Israel with the people of Israel. We can't confuse the Palestinians with Hamas. And that's too far a throw. What she's trying to do is say that by going to a comedy show that's going to give the money to a charity organization, it's exactly like signing one of those letters at Harvard from students that say Israel shouldn't exist or this is all Israel's fault. You can't. Not everything is a 10. It's exactly like when Harvey Weinstein was a horrible piece of shit rapist, and Matt Damon says, well, we shouldn't confuse Harvey Weinstein with Al Franken, and everybody yells at Matt Damon for that. That's what Megyn Kelly is doing, is just yelling over nothing and trying to turn it into what actual anti-Semites are doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, she's Megyn Kelly, man. She's got to go after anybody who's kind of doing anything pro-Palestine. So,
well, she's got to go after anybody to stay relevant in the anger.
That's her lane. Yeah, I mean, and Taylor Swift's the biggest fish out there. So she's like, Taylor Swift is my white whale. You're a liberal cuck, Taylor. And she's going Ahab on her.
Yeah. All right, what story next? Well, let's do this. Oh, because this is something you brought up. Let's just stay in this arena. I'm swallowing a burp. How American citizens are leading the rise of settler violence on Palestinian lands. You talked about this. This article says that over there, as you said, generally people try and get along, but then you get these...
It's like the game Settlers of Catan if you hate Muslims.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell it again. Like you said before, you talk. It's Western people going over there and saying, fuck you, I'm going into this land, I'm creating a settlement where nobody wants it, and just stirring the goddamn pot. And they say it's fucking U.S. extremist settlers.
I was talking to an Israeli comic like years ago, just I don't know, like a group of comics. We were just kind of hanging out after a show, and somehow somebody mentioned something about the settlers, and there wasn't anybody there that was Palestinian or Muslims. So she wasn't saying this to, I don't know, just pander or whatever.
Get brownie points.
She just goes, fuck the settlers, and I mean, she like grew up in Israel, like she's full on Israeli, and I'm like, wow, really? I thought they were Israeli. She's like, no, we don't like the settlers, most of us. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, for one thing, most of them aren't Israeli. They grew up in Brooklyn, and they're coming back here now to go to these small towns where they don't want them, and they're pissing people off. The way she broke it down, and she wasn't even breaking it down on behalf of like the Palestinians who live there. I mean, she was saying like, yeah, it's fucking shitty for them too, but she was just saying like on half of Israelis, like, you're fucking us over.
Yeah,
because she's like, okay, look, like there's Tel Aviv, which is fucking awesome. If you're Jewish, great place to be. If you're going to go to Israel, go there. It rocks. Good economy, good nightlife, good restaurants, bars, all of that. You can do what you want there. It's pretty good place. Now, instead of going there, what these guys are doing is they're going to these small shitty towns where there's nothing for them, and they're not Jewish run, and it's people who don't want them there. There's nothing good to do there. The only thing to do in these small towns is to piss off Muslims, and it works every time. And so they're going out there pissing them off, and then every now and then rockets fucking fly back at Tel Aviv, and then those guys turn and go, huh? Fucking Palestinians are nuts, right? It's like, quit fucking with them. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys are stirring the shit. And you're getting us fucking lit up. It's bullshit. It would be like if so I moved from Iowa to New York. It would be like if me and a bunch of other people from Iowa went, you know what? I think New Jersey should be New York. It used to be New York back in the 17 whatever the fucks. And then we went and just started forcing people out of their houses in small towns in New Jersey and just putting New York flags on their houses. We reclaim this for New York, and towns where there's nothing good, like it's just shitty little towns in New Jersey. There's nothing good there. And so and then every now and then some New Jersey extremist jumps on the PATH train with a fucking suicide vest, and I get to go back and be like, look, I'm pro New York. And New York's like, no, you should have fucking stayed here, man. Could have hung out in Chelsea, but instead you pissed off a bunch of people from New Jersey, and they're fucking launching rockets across the Hudson at us because of what the fuck you did. And she was like, look, they're just making a complicated situation worse. So fuck them. Stay in Brooklyn.
This whole article is that American citizens have been at the forefront of the rise in settler violence. It doesn't say Israelis are leaving Tel Aviv and pushing out. It's people from U.S. get all fucking fired up. Many of the estimated 60,000 Americans living in the West Bank outside of occupied East Jerusalem moved to settlements for the lifestyle and have little to do with the Palestinians on whose land they live. But a core of ideologically driven U.S. citizens were at the forefront of building religious settlements on land. It's everything you just said, and it's needless. It's always the angry extremists on any fucking side, and then everyone in the middle pays the price.
Well, yeah, because basically the people that are moving over there to be the settlers, their mindset is like, this was once a Jewish land back in the days of David, in the kingdom of David, like in the Alexander the Great years. And it's like, hey, dummy, you know what else has changed in terms of world maps since the days of Alexander the Great? Try fucking all of them. What are you talking about? Who's to say which year is the official year that this land should go back to? I don't know. Maybe we should give it back to the Romans. Maybe it's Italian. Maybe we should give it back to Julius Caesar and therefore back to Italy. It's give unto Caesar. It was Caesar's once.
I got to interrupt you because fuck you. Fuck you. It goes to Genghis Khan. Fuck you and your Roman Caesar. I am Team Genghis Khan and his empire. That's what I say.
Genghis killed the most people. He should get it.
Yeah, he did.
He wanted it the most. He put the elbow grease in. He killed anywhere between, some historians estimate 30, some historians estimate 70. As a Genghis Khan apologist, I think 70 is way too high. I think 70 million is too many. It's a made up number. It's a hoax.
He was doing nothing wrong.
The media is always shitting on Genghis, is all I'm saying.
All he wanted to do was make the world a peaceful place, and the only way he could do that is to control the world. So you got to put in the effort. You got to take over the world in order to control it and make it peaceful. Pro Genghis Khan. You heard it on this podcast. We're Team Genghis.
The world was a terrible, violent place before him because there was 30 to 70 million too many people. 30 to 70 million too many people. He rectified that problem, you know, and then it was great. So I don't know why everyone shits on him.
Nope, he's a good dude. All right, Jake, you were a member of the U.S. military. How often is U.S. intelligence correct? Because according to this report, Russia has lost 87% of the troops it had prior to the start of the Ukraine war, according to U.S. intelligence assessment. Now, we have seen last year there was a conscription. He hasn't brought it back, but he said, all right, if you are a male of this age, get on over because you're joining. And there was a mass exodus from Russia of young males. And he also pulled the whole, all right, hey, prisoners, guess what? If you want to reduce your sentence, come fight for us. And then if they didn't volunteer, it's like, all right, guess what, prisoners? Even if you don't want to reduce your sentence, you're fighting for us. I mean, they are burning through conscripts. How do you think it's even accurate? Like, military intelligence always gets shit wrong.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing I know, it's that Russia is dying to give us accurate numbers and statistics about their military while we're actively at war with them. Like, no, and we have a vested interest in making this number really high. So what's not in this number, and you kind of touched on it. Maybe the actual count of here's the divisions and the soldiers that were in it. Like, maybe that's gone down a lot, but they've recruited more people. So
they've been replaced because it says right in the thing prior to the start of the Ukraine war. Well, yeah, if I have a gallon of water in the refrigerator and I drink a glass of water, that glass of water is gone. I drank it. Doesn't mean there's not more.
Right. It doesn't mean you're dying of thirst now.
Yeah.
Well, these people are dying. So I guess that's not a great analogy, but
well, they're dying, but they're being replaced with more people to die.
Look at Russia on the map. There's a lot of people there. They got a lot of people to draw from. So it's not going to end anytime soon because Russia is a massive fucking country. Ukraine's a pretty big country too. That's the thing is we look at it like it's this small country because it's small only compared to Russia. That's the only country that it's fucking small next to. It's pretty goddamn big, and so there's a lot of people there. Let me check out population of Ukraine.
And also at the same time, I do not know, and this could be my own ignorance. I do not know. I have not heard many reports of people flocking to Russia to fight for Russia. However, there are people aplenty going to Ukraine to put in time fighting for Ukraine. It's sort of not drawing tens of thousands, but it's drawing a few. They hire mercs. That's who people want to fight for the most part.
Yeah, the only people that I saw on the news going to fight Russia that aren't from there, there was a small group of Jewish Israeli settlers from Brooklyn. It was weird. I'm like, why are you fighting for Russia here? Like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, what? This part of Russia was Jewish 10,000 years ago. And so they're just kind of like, yeah, they're just taking it back for old Dave. They're like, this is the kingdom of Dave, dude. I'm doing this for Dave. And now they're just out there forcing people out of their homes, man.
Well, according
43.79 million people in Ukraine. This is estimated.
Yeah. Since the start of the invasion, Russia has announced plans to increase the size of the armed forces to 1.5 million. So they're talking about increasing it even as they're losing. I'm not saying that the Russian people are happy about it, but they are available. And there's that whole like Vietnam, flee to Canada. I don't know where they're going, but yeah, they're either going to be conscripted or they're going to flee. So this is going to go on for a while. You can make a really neat headline that says, "Ooh, everybody's dying."
Yeah, I mean, replaced. Russia's got 143 million people. Now these are statistics from 2021, but either way,
how many of those are fighting age males?
Well, yeah, I mean, plenty, Yeah. I mean, out of 143 million, you got to think, I don't know what, like, I don't know, quarter of them, even if it's 10%, that's 43 million fucking people,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's start talking about one of our favorite.
My math is off. I did 14 million. It's 10%. I can't do numbers.
This is a comedy podcast, not a math podcast.
Fuck yeah.
We don't do
math podcast, dude.
All right. Last week, you made some great points that made me laugh. That when it comes to Twitter, Elon Musk, all he has to do is not put, like Disney is saying, hey, could you not put our ads right next to the hate speech? And Elon Musk is giving twin metal
bridge too far. Fingers. Woke horse shit.
Yeah. Well, he's doubling down. Not only did he, these two stories came back to back. Not only did he reinstate Alex Jones on Twitter, but then he had a live chat with Alex Jones, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Andrew Tate. I mean, you got it. God bless Elon Musk. I mean, it's like he is literally playing blackjack. He has 21 showing, and he's saying "hit me," and then he's getting mad at the advertisers for when he goes bust. It is amazing and beautiful, and God bless him for standing his ground. It's great.
I mean, yeah, you gotta. I just feel bad for the people that work at Twitter. You know what I mean? And have been there for a while, because it's like, dude, we were with this successful company, and then it got bought out by the richest man on the fucking planet, just so he could run it into the ground and get in fucking pissing contests with advertisers. I'd be irate if I worked at Twitter, and this is the bullshit he's doing. Now,
how many people still work there that are like Twitter loyalists, though? Because you remember when he came in, there was the big purge, and they got rid of 50%.
There was, man, but there's still plenty of people there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are,
but rid of all of them. And even then, so you get hired right after. You don't think that like let's say you get hired 2 months after he starts. You don't think a year from now he's gonna be chatting it up with Alex Jones and Andrew Tate just to go tell Disney to go fuck themselves? Like, it's not, this will really annoy those cucks over at Disney. How's it going, Alex? Like that's the hill that you're dying on. That's the hill that my fucking salary is gonna take a bullet on. Like, is so you can chat with Alex Jones and make liberals clutch their pearls. That's the fucking great cause that I'm now gonna have to look for a new job because of.
And my favorite part of all this is you'd think, and I think we talked about this in passing. I don't remember. You would think it would be so easy for Twitter 2.0 to come along and just say, "Hey, come over here. We won't be this piece of shit." And yet, when
Not
Zuckerberg
half
did it with Facebook with his what's it called, Threads? I think I forget
threads.
because
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
uses
the
it.
Instagram one.
But you talk about a guy with the money, Zuckercorn has it, and he launches his Twitter alternative, and it's like, ooh, users, and then crash, nobody uses it. Like everybody signs up, and then it just sort of fades.
Well, part of the reason Twitter is appealing to people is because that's kind of where everybody is from both sides of the aisle. And if you're posting all kinds of political stuff on there, you want to be able to argue, you know?
Yeah,
So if
they
you,
like conflict. People like
right,
conflict for some reason.
that's why political stuff on Threads doesn't work, political stuff on Truth Social doesn't work, is because you only have one side of the fence to go, yeah, you're right. Fuck those other guys that aren't here. You know, it's just at a certain point, you just go, what the hell? Plus, Twitter also has plenty of people that don't give a fuck about this, and they're just on there posting about sports or whatever. So it's like you also have access to all those people as well. Whereas if your main thing is posting about sports and you go, did you know that Elon Musk is going to let this guy and that guy and that guy? How does that affect me posting about the Jets? Not at all. Cool, then I'm staying. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go. Did you hear the audio of Vivek Ramaswamy taking a piss on a hot mic on that thing?
No, but I read about it. It was a perfect Naked
Fucking
Gun
great.
moment. I was Googling right now how many.
Dude, I that's exactly my first thoughts when I was listening to it. It was totally Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun. It's pretty hilarious. If anybody at these Republican debates doesn't mention this, then they're way dropping the ball because it is hilarious and it is humiliating.
They've got to do a Frank Drebin. I'm going to Google it. They've got to do a Frank Drebin reference, is what they have to
Eh,
say. They have to call him Frank Drebin.
yeah, yeah. It's they got to make that. They can make a reference to it. That can't be the main joke because unfortunately it's dated. You know, I don't think anybody younger than us is gonna get the reference, but they should at least make some reference to it. They should definitely make fun of him for the pissing incident. And a small reference to
I
Naked Gun.
I we've talked about this. I think I was on an episode of the blind date, and even back in I knew to turn my mic off between takes, and they would get pissed. They'd come over to me and say, "Hey, there's something wrong with your mic," and I'm like, "No, I'm just talking to her, and I don't want you fucking recording it." And that made them
Yep.
unhappy. I mean, this is well before
Yep.
the Donald Trump grab him by the pussy tape. I knew to reach down and just go click and make sure that red light was off before talking because I did not want any of that shit recorded. It's amazing that people that are supposed to know better don't do that.
Yep.
Twitter has
But
lost it has lost, and by next year projected to lose 5% of its users from 368 million monthly active users down to 335 million by the start of next year.
well, we did learn on that hot mic that unlike Trump, Vivek does not grab women by the pussies, but he is well hydrated. That is what we learned.
That's good. The next story says that it's lost approximately 13% of its users. So the numbers are all over the place. We're probably getting him from American intelligence, and they're getting him from Russia. Like
If you would have asked me before this whole debacle with Elon Musk and Twitter, hey Jake, what do you think would be more difficult, running an electric car company, running a rocket ship company, or running a social media app? I'd be like, what? Dude, those first two all day. Those first two sound way harder. And yes, anybody that can do those first two it's gonna be nothing running this social media app. It's gonna be fucking easy. He's gonna have it running so much better.
Or even better, I'll take you one further. What is more difficult? Running a car company that I don't want to say you built from the ground up, but you were there. I think he took over a rocket company that, you had or just taking over a company that's already running smoothly and nothing's going wrong. And all you have to do
Yeah.
is just you do the Indiana Jones switch figureheads. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. On the way out, Tim Cook was like, or whoever was that? Tim Cook's Apple.
Steve Jobs left, Tim Cook stepped in. Nothing changed. Apple just continued going up.
No, who was the guy that owned Twitter before that?
Oh,
Which one was?
the guy with the beard and only eats
Yeah,
one meal a day.
guy with the beard. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
so the guy with the beard left, and he was like, "Listen, Elon, this is gonna be." So we've had it sailing pretty smooth for years. Only thing is, you just can't put the Disney ads next to swastikas. That's the
Patrick
only thing
Dorsey.
you got to do. And he was like, "Not bridge too far, bridge too far." This Disney ad's going right next to this swastika.
Yep, Patrick Dorsey.
Yep.
All
Patrick
right,
Dorsey. That's right.
let's go on a nice note. We got time for one quick one. As fury erupts over campus anti-Semitism, conservatives seize the moment. Did you watch the clips of these three presidents of the universities discussing free speech and being asked, is it against college policy or whatever to call for the extermination of Jews? And they were like,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
it would have to depend on the circumstance in which they're calling for the genocide of the.
That's why trips. I will say they sounded like shit for sure.
Oh,
I
they,
will
they
say
fucking
this
looked
is,
like shit
this is
too.
where 30-second and 2-minute clips can get you in trouble, because before that they had been discussing the phrase "from the river to the sea." And what does that mean? Does that just mean, hey, don't oppress Palestinians, or does it mean, hey, wipe out Jewish people? Because there's some people that claim it means both of those things or something in between, or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So that was kind of what the debate was on. And then well, at least Stefanik and some of these other people were basically saying, well, I'm saying it means genocide of Jewish people. So with that in mind, you know what I mean? And then they would kind of ask him again.
So
and
we cut
that
the front
said,
end off and
you have to know that we live in a clip world. And if somebody flat out asks you, hey, do you think it's okay to say that you want to exterminate this group or that group or blah, 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 blah? You just say no.
Yeah.
And then you unfortunately have to do it every time, because that's what they're trying to do to you. That's what they're trying to do. If for example, I had I was like one of those southern red states that has like, I don't know, like a street named after a Civil War guy, and it's like, well, you're going to say that it doesn't have anything to do with slavery if you're pro that street name, So
Right.
if someone's grilling you and goes, so do you think that it's okay? Like slavery is good. You have to, you say no. You know what I mean? You could go, no, but he also did other things and it was about tariffs. Yeah, but you bring it back to that because that's what you're there to do. But you always have to say no when they throw that shit right at you. If you don't, you're definitely too dumb to run a fucking university. Here's the thing. I think they were so bad at answering these questions. I'm way more concerned about their abilities, their inabilities to lie properly, than I am about anti-Semitism. Like, you should be able to bullshit at least Stefanik for a few fucking minutes. Otherwise, hey, you run an Ivy League school. You lie to people all the time.
Saturday Night Live used it as their cold open, and I was really disappointed. I'm like, here you have comedic gold, and they kind of dropped the ball. But there was one moment where the woman playing Stefanik said, I can't believe how good you're making me look, or you have no idea how difficult it is to make me look good, and you're doing it. I'm like, yes, that's the line right there. You are somehow making her look good. And if you can't bullshit your way through that, you should not be in charge of anything. Because
no. And I mean, it's just the sheer hypocrisy of it, where they're like, oh, this is a free speech thing, though. It's like, yeah, but goddamn well, if it was, if this was a group of
everyone's saying transgender. If it was transgender, you'd be like, oh no, you cannot say anything bad about them. Yeah.
Oh, it froze.
Yeah, we both
sorry,
froze.
It froze on. Okay, yeah, but that's the thing. If it was certain things, you'd freak out. If this was a group of conservatives yelling anti-Semitic shit, you would shut that shit down the second it fucking started. It's kind of funny, man, because a lot of the news on the left, while actively ignoring anti-Semitism in a lot of these like college protests and things like that. And again, you can very much criticize the Israeli government without being anti-Semitic. Like, I'm not Megyn Kelly on this one by any means. Most of the Jewish people I know here aren't Netanyahu fans either. So you can definitely say a lot of bad things about Netanyahu, the Israeli government, without being anti-Semitic. That said, there is a lot of straight up on the nose, 100% genuine anti-Semitism going on in these protests,
and
they're actively ignoring that.
Supposed to be anti-Semitic, because that's a stereotype right there. My anti-Semitic friend.
Who's anti-Semitic?
You, with your on the nose comment, the Jewish nose stereotype. How dare you?
Right?
How dare you?
And it's a damn big one to be right on the nose of. Anyway, but no, there's actual anti-Semitism they're going out of their way to ignore. While at the same time they're going, did you hear Trump said the word vermin in a speech?
Yeah.
Hitler used to say that while talking about Jewish people. He's being anti-Semitic. Well, was he talking about Jewish people when he said it? No. Okay, well, then it's kind of different. And it's really weird to try to directly tie that to anti-Semitism while actively ignoring anti-Semitism that's coming from the left. Yeah. It's wildly hypocritical, the way that the media has been covering it and the way that these college professors have been dealing with it. And again, I think I would be a little bit less bothered by them and their stances on this shit if I thought they were at all, if they were applying the same standards of free speech to any group, but they're not. So, yeah.
All right, we got to go. Last story. Luke Combs found out that his legal team sued on his behalf, took advantage of a poor woman who was just trying to raise some money, and he stepped up to, he's going to raise money for her and give her money. So I think that's fantastic. We don't have time to talk about it, but props to Luke Combs for figuring out what his legal team was doing behind his back. And I get it. His legal team they see a copyright issue and they just go after it. But when it gets to the top, good for him for stepping up. Find Jake online at Jake Vevra on all the socials. I am at nathantimmel.com, and I have a t-shirt store that's open. You just go to my website, and it's right there. It says shop the t-shirt store. You can go buy funny, wacky t-shirts. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Chicago's Comedy Scene Radio Network, and we'll be here next week.
Taylor Swift wrote a song for Al-Qaeda.